Digimon has never been a series that was afraid of being dark, refusing from day one to talk down to its audience or assume kids couldn't handle what it wanted to show them. But having said that, sometimes Digimon pushed the limit with what you could get away with showing on a kids show, leaving its viewers with these cursed moments that have haunted our memories for years and even decades. Today, we're covering 10 of the scariest Digimon moments of all time, across all seasons from Adventure to Tamers, and even the latest horror-themed series, Digimon Ghost Game. Before we start, I want to give an honorary mention to Digimon Survive, an incredibly unsettling video game where almost every main character can be killed off in some gruesome way based on your decision, but that game only just came out in 2022 and I don't want to include those moments just yet in case people want to experience that game without spoilers. With that out of the way, let's talk Digimon's scariest moments. Number 10, Piedmon hunting children in Digimon Adventure episode 52, Piedmon's Last Jest. This entire episode sees Piedmon meticulously stalking and hunting members of the Digidestined team like it's an 80s slasher film and turning them and their Digimon into eerie keychains when he's caught them. It was really Digimon's first foray into something resembling body horror, with the victims' transformations into keychains, and as you'll see later on this list, Digimon writers have become dark masters of this horror subgenre. Number 9, Leomon's murder in Tamers episode 34, Lionheart. This is kind of a hilarious sentence I'm about to say. It's hard to choose just one Leomon murder for this list, but the Leomon death in Tamers hurt the most as it came at the hands of an ally who had turned against us, Beelzemon. And unlike in Adventure 1999 or Try, this Leomon had a human partner he left behind, Jeri. It's really her screams and facial expressions as he fades away that sell the scene. And in retrospect, it's knowing the domino effect of events that follow Leomon's death, leading to Jeri's spiral into depression and towards the D-Reaper finale for Tamers. Number 8 is Arukenimon eating human brains in Ghost Game episode 21, The Spider's Lure. After the internet fell in love with Lady Dimitrescu and spooky goth ladies a couple years ago, many were stoked to see Arukenimon's human form appear in Ghost Game for the first time since Adventure 02 20 years prior. But it took no time at all for us to remember her spider form as pure nightmare fuel, and Ghost Game took things way farther than 02 ever did, with having her capture humans in her web and straight up eat their brains to obtain their knowledge. Unlike many Ghost Game endings where the victims of the episode are miraculously cured when the villain is stopped, the humans that Arukenimon ate are straight up dead forever, and we're left remembering the awful sounds of her chewing. Number 7, the birth of Megidramon, also in Tamers episode 34, Lionheart. Moments after the murder of Leomon in the Digimon Tamers continuity, blinded by rage, Takato orders Wargreymon to digivolve one step beyond Ultimate into unknown territory in order to stand a fighting chance against Leomon's killer. It's the anger in Takato's voice and face that makes this so uncomfortable, especially as Jeri, who just lost her partner, clearly doesn't want the violent revenge that Takato is seeking. It feels like the whole world is ending as Takato pushes his Digimon into this state, and the immediate regret that Takato feels and the horror Jeri exhibits makes for one twisted scene. Number 6, Pumpkinmon carving up kids' faces in Ghost Game episode 4, The Doll's Manor. Back when Ghost Game was still in its infancy, we knew it was horror inspired, but we didn't know how far it was willing to take things. We learned the hard way in episode 4 that this show could be pretty messed up when a Pumpkinmon overpowered kids living in a dormitory, placed pumpkins on their heads, and then used a knife to carve faces onto the jack-o'-lanterns, getting disturbingly close to their eyeballs and other facial features in the process. As mentioned, this moment served as a wake-up call to new Ghost Game viewers that this show wasn't messing around when it came to horrifying its viewers. Before we get into the top 5, let me take a minute to tell you about the sponsor of today's video. Maybe you're now feeling nostalgic for Digimon and kind of want to see if you can get some figures, games, collectibles, old and new. Buyee is this online proxy service that lets you buy things directly from Japan, and they ship it right to you wherever you are in the world. You can shop on Japanese storefronts like Rakuten, Mercari, Amazon JP. You buy whatever you want, and Buyee will handle getting it shipped to you. No Japan address needed, no need to understand Japanese, they take care of it all. If you sign up to Buyee with a link in this video's description, you'll get a 2,000 yen coupon for your first order. There's a ton of store exclusive deals and added promos all the time, so I like logging in once a week just to see what promos they have. Once again, head to the link in my description for the 2,000 yen coupon. Thanks again for sponsoring the video, Buyee. Now back to the list. Number 5, the first Dark Digivolution in Adventure episode 16, The Arrival of Skullgreymon. While it isn't traditional horror or frighteningly scary, Greymon's twisted evolution brought about by Tai pushing his friend beyond his limit left a lasting impression on an entire generation. We were all still early into the lore and rules of Digimon and our understanding of Digivolution, just like Tai was, so when this monster appeared where Greymon once stood, we had no idea if we'd just lost Agumon for good, and if he was about to take out our other Digimon partners in that epic berserker beatdown. Number 4, horrible body horror in Ghost Game episode 43, Red Eye. Ghost Game loves to make your skin crawl, whether it's mushrooms growing on people's arms and faces or having dozens of eyeballs pop up all over their skin, but that last one took top place in episode 43 when an American girl who was visiting one of our main characters in Japan was attacked attacked in the airport washroom by Eyesmon. She had her blue eyes ripped out of her head and replaced by creepy red eyes, but it didn't stop there. Over the course of the episode, more eyes popped up all over her neck, arms, and torso like pimples or warts, and the entire thing just felt so gross and intrusive. Thankfully, I watched this as an adult because kid me would be scarred for life. Number 3, the last Ghost Game reference on this list is the execution of Bokomon in Digimon Ghost Game episode 13, Executioner. This Ghost Game entry is jam-packed with darkness and is probably the most eventful episode in the whole series so far. Beelzemon is ruthlessly executing innocent and unsuspecting Digimon across town when he finally sets his sight on the gang, and we have a real casualty. While protecting Gammamon, Bokomon is sniped and pixelates in front of the young Digimon's eyes, resulting in a dark Digivolution, the birth of GulusGammamon. The show creators signaled something had gone terribly wrong with the clever way they animated Gulus's evolution sequence, having time kind of pause and revert before Gulus essentially ripped through the animation background. It made the whole thing feel like a lab experiment gone horribly wrong. And to make the whole thing that much darker, when Gulus finally gets Beelzemon to explain why he murdered Bokomon, it wasn't because he had a vendetta or was hired or had any true goal. He was simply trying to get his kill count up, murdering innocents for the love of the game. Number 2, Kari's Dark Ocean in Adventure 02, episode 13, His Master's Voice. The episode that spawned 2 decades of confusion and theory crafting, Kari, our Digidestined of Light, begins having strange visions of a third world, not the real world or the digital world. She's eventually transported there to a beach with a lighthouse where creatures that at first resemble Scubamon but later devolve into unknown monsters try to make Kari their queen, telling her that she could save them from their undersea master, a hulking menace we see in the final scene of the episode. Perhaps more creepy than the episode itself is the fact that this cliffhanger ending is never resolved, leaving fans to wonder for over 2 decades what on earth happened to Kari, what's the story behind the Dark Ocean, the fake Scubamon, and their master. It is truly one of the great mysteries of the Digimon franchise. But number 1, of course, has to be Jeri's Nightmare in Tamers episode 47, His Kingdom for a Horse. This one has to take the number 1 spot for the creepiest moment in the franchise, beating out everything that the horror-themed season Ghost Game could throw at us, with the nightmare sequence where Jeri relives the day of her mother's death. The shot is positioned so precisely to emphasize just how small Jeri felt and how scary the world can be from a young child's view as she's surrounded by lifeless and dreary doctors in a labyrinthian hospital hallway. Of course, the scene then concludes with the nightmare-inducing eyeless Jeri clone with a hand puppet sewn into her arm, laughing and telling her that this is fate. The entire Jeri and D-Reaper saga is incredibly twisted, so twisted in fact I remember having a hard time finishing Tamers as a kid because I didn't sign up for such intensity in my Digimon. But 20 years later, the nightmare sequence and the cursed D-Reaper Jeri has got to be the darkest thing Digimon has ever produced. That is our list of the scariest and darkest Digimon moments ever. What did you think? Did you agree? Are there other entries we missed? Let me know if you watched Digimon Ghost Game, and if not, if you're planning to now. We talk Digimon pretty much weekly on this channel, so if that sounds like a good time and you're not already subscribed, definitely consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.